Welcome to the Old Okie Workshop. I'm Richard. Well, I made one workbench roll. Now I'm going to make another one not roll. This is my woodworker's workbench that is normally stationary, NS for short, and I made it roll, and I made a video on that, so you can check that video out to see how to convert this from normally stationary to rolling. Now the project is how to make the normally rolling assembly table stationary so it doesn't do that. My initial idea was to place a leg against the inside of this leg, which goes down on the floor, so it would swing down in this position. You pick this end of the assembly table up, it swings into place. And then there would be a cross member going across to a leg like this on the other side. Then when you want to place the assembly table back down on the casters, have to pull this up. So you lift up this end of the assembly table, and somehow or another you got to pull this up and then pivot it back into position like that. But I didn't like that because it would show, and I thought it would be a lot cooler to have something underneath there that you can't see. So the idea I finally came up with was to hide the legs underneath this shelf. So we release this board, and when we do, the legs come down. Then we place this in the legs down position, pick up this end of the assembly table, legs fly into place, do the same thing on this end, and there you go. So it's up off the casters and it won't move, so that's cool. Now to reverse this procedure and put the legs back up and the assembly table back down on casters, I move this to the middle position, pick this end up, those legs fly up, and I've got to pick this end up, those legs fly up. Now I'm back on the casters, and I can take this and put it in the legs up position, and we're back to rolling. So now let's flip this table over and see how that operates. The first step is to take this lever and place it in, start to move it into this position. Now when that happens, you got to think gravity with me now. Gravity's working this way. I didn't have any anti-gravity around to make this, to show you what's really going on, but these are going to start to fall down, right? So this one starts to come down, all right, and then this one starts to come down, blah, 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 and away we go. And finally, we are then in this position like this, and these legs are now down, but they're not all the way down because they're not all the way, in that position, because I've got the floor in the way. So for example, right here, this is going to come down and touch the floor right there, and this one's going to do the same thing. It's going to be about like this, see? Okay, so they're like that. I'm going to leave that one like that. So something has got to finally put these into position. They are down here touching the floor, and the floor won't let them move. So I pick up this end of the assembly table and pick it up. Now the floor goes right like this, okay? This can now swing into position, but because of gravity, it's just going to go right here, right? It's going to hang straight down. So something's got to make it go from here to here so that it's in the this final position. And the thing that does that is the gang of bungee, which is right here. So there are a number of bungee cords. I had them available, so I just used them, and they are connected to a piece of fishing line that goes over here and goes around on this end, comes around, and it goes to a screw right here. So it's going underneath this leg, and it's going to the bungee cord, and it's pulling in both directions. So when this gets into this position and gravity's holding it like this, and I picked it up off the floor, the assembly table up off the floor so it can move this far, then the bungee cord makes it go into its final position. So that takes care of that. So now it's down on the floor, the legs are, and it is stationary. Now comes time to put the legs back up. So when that happens, this moves into this position and it starts to pull this guy down. But that one over there, the one at the other end, this one can't move yet because it's on the floor. So this is the one that's got to be picked up first. So you got to pick this end up first. When you do, this spring is pulling this lever. That pulls this up, but it only goes that far because that one over there is captive on the floor, right? So I'm just going to put this down for right now. It's in about this position, up off the floor. And this one, once I pick this end up, the spring pulls this one into position like that, and then I lock this back into place, and that's it. Now this is way more complicated than that. The way all these springs and where these lines have to be placed on this lever, and I have a longer version video that explains that. But that's the basics of how it works. And that's how I made the normally rolling assembly table go from rolling to stationary. Quick, short version.